Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to Terrific Tuesday here in Connecticut, and welcome to Trumpet Fitness. Life's good, life's beautiful, life's wonderful. Just got in from a bike ride, toweled off. As soon as I'm done with this, we're going right back out for another bike ride. It is gorgeous. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. TAPS. Did you all these guys in the U.S., I have some from all over the world, but you guys in the U.S., did you do TAPS yesterday? I didn't hear anything about it until it was done. I guess I'm in my own little world. But anyway, let me talk about TAPS a little bit, and we'll be done with it. Okay? Let me honk, and we'll do it. Anyway, warm up. All my students, either they're coming in live or Skype, are mocking me because somehow they get a haircut and I can't get one. So, have your fun. Things are loosening up around here, and I will have one soon, and I'll just look marvelous. Anyway, TAPS. As Mel Broyles used to say, Ralphie, it's the toughest solo in the book. And I'll get back to that in a minute. And one of my favorite renditions of TAPS, there's several, but one of my favorites is the TAPS that was played, the arrangement of TAPS that was played at Maynard Ferguson's funeral. It's arranged by Walter White, very, very talented guy, and a terrific trumpet player. I put it down. It's just, a minute and a half, but it's absolutely beautiful and just so appropriate. So many of these Maynard reunion bands and all this sort of stuff, where all these superstars just getting up there and can't play loud enough, can't play high enough. I mean, as impressive as it is, I find it a little obnoxious. But for this funeral, I mean, it was just a beautiful, beautiful rendition. It was not Scream City. There is a double C in this. I mean, you're going to pay tribute to Maynard and not have a double C. But it was really well done. Walter White is a very, very talented guy. I played a recording date with him years ago. I mean, he was still in Juilliard. And he was, everybody knew he was a hot shot. He studied with Vacchiano and Broyles. He could have gone that route. So easily could have gone the orchestral route. We wanted the commercial thing. He toured with Maynard and, clinics and all that sort of thing later. Wonderful trumpet player. But anyway, this arrangement by him is beautiful. Anyway, back to Mel. Ace, the toughest solo in the book. Now, Mel came from, graduated from West Point, so he had a military background, and he was heavily into the whole thing. I mean, his countenance, his posture, the way he dressed was just immaculate. I mean, he took that whole life with him for the rest of his life. The way he went about playing the trumpet and everything. I mean, there was no dot on the page that was not that was ignored. Every staccato, every crescendo, it just extraordinary. But anyway, knowing that he put such emphasis on the military lifestyle, there are, I'm going to say, 25 bugle calls. There may be more, but there are 25 core ones that all the trumpet players who go into the military are responsible for. Actually, Jacob, you know who you are. Get on the internet and get those. Get copies of those. They're easy, but you should know them. Okay? Anyway, there's 25 bugle calls, and Call to Colors, Reveille, and all that sort of stuff. Most of you know them. Some of them are, needless to say, very obscure. Some of them have never heard of them before, but they are, anyway, they're part of the repertoire for anybody who goes into the military life. And needless to say, like everything that Mel did, he made them sound like cadenzas to a concerto. I mean, they were just so artfully, beautifully done. And he gave anybody that studied with him for any period of time. I mean, needless to say, he had many students that just came in. They have an audition coming up, so they stop in for a lesson. But if you're studying with him for any period of time, you got the taps lesson. Okay? Now, Mel was the first call for everything, along with playing the toughest first chair orchestral book in the world, and just nailing it. Did tons of studio work. He was a first call trumpet player at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and whenever there was a military funeral, highfalutin military funeral in New York City, he was there. Okay, and then he said, "Ace, the toughest solo in the book. First of all, Ace, you're usually outside. You're usually freezing, you're usually sweating, you got to deal with the elements. Also, the acoustics outside are terrible, so you have to be prepared for that and all this sort of stuff. Third, he says, everybody knows what it's supposed to sound like. It's not like you're playing some obscure, composer's, no. Everybody knows it. It's simple, you're all by yourself, and you have to get every single note. He says, not only that does everybody know every note, if you clam, you don't have a chance at this cadenza that you can put a bunch of flourishes in to make up for the clam. It's a tough solo, and he just nailed it. And he played all the calls for me, but also he finished with taps. And actually, when you go over to the Met and would study with him, most of the time he played in one of the back hallways, a dungeon, he used to call it. Every once in a while, if there's nothing going on in the hall, you'd have your lesson up in the pit, in the main hall. What an experience studying with this guy. If you never played a professional note in your life, just sitting there for 4 years, what an experience. Anyway, Ace, I'm playing this weekend. Do me a favor, go up in the hall and tell me how it sounds. And Mel Brooks was all by himself, playing taps from the pit at the Met. And he said, well, what'd you think? It's extraordinary. 24 notes, just extraordinary. One of my other ones, and I don't know what happened to the recording, it was a little cassette tape recording that Jerry had of Horst Fischer playing it. And I'm telling you guys, it was in the studio, so there was some reverb and all this sort of stuff. But it sounded just as beautiful as Phil Smith or Herseth or Mel or any of them. It was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. And those are my two favorites, along with Walter White's arrangement. Now, one other thing before I go. Guys, there is absolutely a huge shortage of trumpet players to play taps. If you want to make yourself a few bucks, and probably just a few, but if you want to make a few bucks, go down to your VFW, bring your trumpet and play taps for them, and they'll put you on the list, because there are very, very few. So many of these military funerals and whatnot are done with recordings. They'll pay you. They'll be more than happy to put you there. One of my students is a military veteran, and he just got in touch with me. He just, out of the blue, he stumbled across my YouTube channel, and he got a very, very cheap bugle for a gift for Father's Day, I believe it was, and he wanted to learn taps because he wanted to do these funerals and have the send-off appropriately. It took him about 5-6 lessons. He learned taps. I mean, it's a solid. I mean, it's not virtuoso, but it's solid. And he's swamped with work down in North Carolina. Guys, You're not going to make a lot. You might make $50. I don't know what the going rate is. And they may want you to do it for nothing. You know, they may have you do a couple for nothing and get paid for some. You know, you work that out with them. But there is absolutely a shortage of trumpet players for tabs. Anyway, that's that. Hope you enjoyed your Memorial Day. If any of you played yesterday at 3 o'clock, was that Eastern Standard Time? I forgot what it was. Leave it down in your comments down there and tell me how it went. And tomorrow, we'll see you again tomorrow. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. Love you all.